and on TikTok. I'm Ify, your go-to immigration attorney for everything family-based immigration. I can help you get your green card legal status so you can live and work in the USA. So come on in, join me. Feel free to ask me your questions. We're rounding up the year 2023. A lot of wins coming in for some of my clients. I want to talk about that and also answer your questions. If you just see me for the first time, make sure you follow me, hit the subscribe button, especially on YouTube. We're going to be posting frequently tips to help you in your application if you're currently going through the process so that you won't feel left alone. Okay? We help clients nationwide, so wherever you're watching me from, let me know in the comments. We can definitely help you with filing your green card application so that you can finally start living in the USA and building your family and growing. We're looking forward to 2024 and all the changes that are coming up, good changes. Hopefully, this is not the year that Trump will be elected. I don't like to be political, but that's a thing that's been going on. There's some proposals for what could happen if Trump gets elected. So that might not be a good thing for immigrants. So even though I like going political, I'm happy to talk about those changes with you. But follow me for immigration tips and for the live Q&A. And in the caption, you'll see a link to join our Facebook group. If you're not already in the group right now, we're going to be doing our weekly Friday one-on-ones. We've been doing that this whole time on Instagram, but right now it's going to be exclusive to the group to where you can come on and ask me, basically have a mini consult with me to know your eligibility, to answer some of your burning questions, okay, things that come up during the process, like how long is it taking, or if you have any inadmissibility, like maybe misrep. Misrep is something that sometimes sneaks up on people because you might think it's something that wasn't really a misrep because it happened a long time ago and it was when you applied for your B1, B2 visa. But I've been seeing a lot of people that come lately after they claim to be married to someone. That's a pretty common misrep that we see when you're applying for your tourist visa. You claim to be married, and now you try to get married to somebody else, and then the USCIS is like, wait a minute, I thought you were married to somebody else before, and then you're like, oh. And now you can't get your green card, and those are the cases that we help our clients figure out. So those are complications that you don't have to deal with when you sign up with us. We can help you navigate the complications through filing hardship waivers if you do qualify, and also discovering other ways that you could potentially get your green card. There are different ways to get a green card. It's not only through marriage, okay? Marriage is pretty common because family-based immigration usually takes the least amount of time when it comes to processing. Okay, most immigration processes take anywhere from 12 months to 3 years. Okay, if you're doing a vow self petition, which is abuse based, you could potentially wait for up to 3 years to finally become a permanent resident, right? But if you qualify for other types of, let's say you're not married to a U.S. citizen, or you're not, you shouldn't. This is why there's issues with fraud marriage, right? Some people go into marriages of convenience because you're like, I just want to get my green card and I want to live in the U.S. And while I can understand the sentiment because I'm an immigrant myself, right, that should not be the basis of to marry someone, because there's so many disadvantages for that. Number one is marriage fraud, which is criminal. And then there's a chance of people taking advantage of you as an immigrant if you're, kind of desperate to just be in any relationship, be in any situation, and then next thing you know, you're being abused. So definitely make sure you're marrying the right person because you actually want to, not just because you want to get a green card. Okay, that's a big one. That's big. USCIS can see it from far away. For me, I can see it. If I can see it, USCIS sure as hell can see it. Okay? All right. So I not only help with marriage-based green cards. Like I said, I specialize in a range of immigration issues, like fiance visas, adoption cases, valid self petitions, like I'm talking about. Thank you, Richard. One of my former clients who already got his 10-year green card. Appreciate you for still watching my live and being here. I see Oluwa Shola Aziz. Thanks for being here. So, yeah, I can definitely help you with getting your green card, but like I said, it's not just only through marriage. Let's see if we can add the people on TikTok to join us quickly. If we can get some questions in. And if you missed this live, if you're watching this at a different time after we're not live, you can join our Facebook group, like I said, so that you can ask your questions during the one-on-one sessions, which is happening on Friday. I believe for right now is around 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to see how that time works. Let's see, are we live? I think we're live on TikTok. We're going to see how that works, and then keep on adjusting to whatever suits the audience, right? Because we want to make sure that you feel confident about your options, you know how to navigate this difficult immigration process and not feel so alone and overwhelmed. That's a common theme amongst immigrants, not knowing what they need to submit, feeling like nobody understands what they're going through. But we're here not only to help you with the legal representation, we're here to provide that community so that you will feel that support and ask questions. On our group, there's over like 25,000 people on there asking questions all day long and supporting each other with answers. So you'll always be able to search through the group and find something that could help you. So, hey guys on TikTok, thanks for joining. I see the likes, I see all of you coming in. We're just here answering questions. I am checking the comments. Let me see YouTube. I'm checking the comments to see who's asking questions and how we can help. Now, it's the end of the year. I know a lot of you are shopping and doing a whole lot of things, trying to prepare for the Christmas. Okay, so this is a great time to also think about your immigration status in America. Like, what's my goal for 2024? Like, how am I planning to achieve these goals, right? A lot of the times, if you're living in the U.S. and you're a non-citizen and you don't have a green card, it's usually more challenging for you to go for some of the things that you can definitely do. Okay, there's always that restriction because it's like I can't just open a business, or can I work, can I accept certain things. I'm always encouraging my clients to start doing their TikToks and become influencers and creators. But the truth is, at some point, once you start monetizing, you're going to need to have your social. You're going to need to have that ability to work in the U.S. So that's where we come in to help immigrants understand these options so that they don't hold themselves back so much, right? Thank you for your hearts and comments. TikTok is such a fun place. You see all sorts of things with the lives. But I see someone, I'm not sure if that was a question or just a comment. Let's see. But feel free to ask your questions on this live session and tune in every week. We're going to be coming live to just give you some clarity and give you some support. Sometimes it's going to be client success stories. I have stories for days. I have different things to share with you all, my experiences with dealing with my clients. Right now, behind me, I actually have 3 mails I have to send out to clients, which includes 1 green card and 2 work permits. The other green card already got to the client, but that one was based on after the client received the notice of intent to deny. That was just a tough case that we just put our foot inside. Okay, it took 2 weeks. We had to do it in 2 weeks. We had limited time. difficult requests, and we're like, USCIS, we're coming for you. And we did. And next thing you know, before Christmas, this happened last year as well, right before Christmas. One of my clients got Havawa approved. Like, it's always something about December, you know. I think it's just all the festive seasons. USCIS agents are just trying to go home or something. So they're like, approved, approved, approved. If you do a great job, you can get approved without even an interview. Like not in all cases, especially if you haven't been married for a long time, right? But if you've been married for some time and you put all the evidence together and it's tight, you could potentially get your green card without an interview. That's what happened with this client over here. No, I didn't even get a letter from USCIS. Usually we're looking out for their notices, waiting to see what's going on. But all we just got in the mail was the green card. It's like, you're approved, and that's it. And that was exciting. So we went with that. And yeah. But so far, I'm still waiting to see questions so I help you out. Thank you very much. Someone says, I like your glasses. I love it too. Another person says, do I do military? What military? Oh, asylum cases. Do I deal with asylum cases? So asylum is a very interesting area of law because it requires the applicants to show credible fear in their home country. They have to show the U.S. why they can't go back to their country ever. Okay, this means if you were to apply for asylum and you get approved, you can't go back to your home country ever because of that credible fear. Otherwise, you may lose the status, and then that's spirals down to other things. So here, we help clients figure out their options for asylum they qualify. If you've lived in the U.S. for less than a year and you're facing any type of persecution in your country for religious reasons, for maybe because of your race, or because what else? Your sexual orientation. If you're experiencing those types of things, you could potentially qualify for asylum. So definitely reach out to us if you're considering applying for asylum, and we can put you in the right direction to get that squared away. Because after a year of being an asylee, you could get your green card through that process. Okay. But the downside, like I said, is just the inability to ever go back to your home country if that's something you consider, because maybe you have family there and things like that. Okay. Hey there, Kiki. How are you? I see a couple of questions. Let me scroll up and make sure I'm not missing any. But I appreciate you all for being here, for participating in these lives, for sharing with your friends and asking your questions. Make sure you join us live. Just subscribe to my channel or turn on your notifications if you're on Facebook or TikTok so that you can see when I go live. Okay. All right. Someone says, I need a green card. I'm husband material. You must have missed my earlier speech about not marrying people for green card because it's just not worth it. Okay. If I missed your questions, please ask it again because I think I missed a few, but let me just talk about this one that I can see right now. Okay. Military. Does the military help people get their green card? I think that will be a no, because to be in the military, you have to be a permanent resident. However, the military would help you to become a U.S. citizen so that, you don't have to wait for 5 years. That's one of the benefits of being in the military. All right. The military does have perks for when it comes to immigration, just because obviously it's a big sacrifice on your part, right? There are different benefits you can gain by being in the military for your family members. But when it comes to getting you a green card, it's not really a basis where it's like, oh, be a non-citizen just gets a green card just to join the military or something like that, because you have to have some sort of allegiance to the U.S. If that makes sense. Okay. Tyler Price, I hope that answers your question. Someone says, I just sent my RFE medical for I-485. Okay. Your I-130 was approved. Okay, let me see. Lots of questions coming in. So it's scrolling up, but I'll try to answer as much as I can. I see another one on Facebook. Thank you, Richard, for your question. I'll get to that in a little bit. But this person says, I just sent my RFE medical and I-45 I-130 approved with interview. What should I expect? Okay, so your I-130 got approved at the interview, but you had to they still sent you an RFE after the interview. That's pretty normal. With that, within like 120 days, you have to get a decision. Okay, so make sure you check back or make sure you're tracking the timeline to make sure it doesn't surpass 120 days so you can get a decision. All right? That's what usually happens after the interview. But if it's only been 30 days or just a few days, just wait. Once you sent in your medical, I say most likely they'll just send you the green card in the mail. Like just with the client I told you all about, I was just chilling and I just got a green card in the mail. So they do that when they see all the evidence and everything is there and there's just no need for an interview. With abuse cases, waiver cases, they mostly waive interviews, but I've seen a case where we had to do an I-45 interview, even though it was a valid case. So, I mean, it just really all depends, okay? Okay, so Richard's asking, can I bring my son, who is 14, he'll be 15 next year, through as a permanent resident? Or should my wife, who's a U.S. citizen, file for him? That's a great question. And as for total fees, filing fees, you have to reach out to us. You can send us a message on WhatsApp or give us a call and we'll talk to you about fees. But when it comes to a permanent residence filing for family members, that's actually allowed. Okay, that's a thing. A permanent resident can file for their child that is 21 and younger, I guess. For the older than 21 part, the child just has to be unmarried. Okay, so if you have an unmarried child that's over 21, could potentially file, but your child is 14. And so you're a permanent resident. You can file for your child as a permanent resident. It doesn't have to be your U.S. citizen spouse at this point. Okay, so for fees, let's discuss that by text. All right. Thanks for joining, Busiku. How are you? I love seeing all of you all now that you're permanent residents, just still watching my lives. Thank you very much for the support. All right, more questions. Let's see. Can I bring my cousin to the USA? So there's a lot of questions about who to bring into the USA because with family-based immigration, it's always based on relationship. So in many of my videos, I've broken down all the different family relationships that qualify for filing. So cousin, unfortunately, is not one of them. Cousin is a distant relationship that you just cannot prove any ties. Like, what's the point? With marriage, you're coming to build a life together and all that. So cousins are far off. As someone says, I keep missing the question. Let me see, who's that? Bartos Babe. Okay, let me try to find your question and we'll go from there. This your accent. Are you Nigerian? I am Nigerian. You know, you can't miss us anywhere in the world. Yes, I am Nigerian. Can my daughter adjust status? I have a pending vowel. She arrived on a B1, B2. Nothing filed for her yet. Great question. Bart, am I saying that right? Barot's Babe. Great question. When you have a pending vowel application and you have a dependent, the options there are, so this is tricky. The child just entered in on a B1, B2. The child, how old is this child? Was the child present or with you during any of the abuse? Or they just entered like they've never met their step parent who was abusive towards you? I think those are the questions we need to know because if that's the case, and also the age of the child, to know if, this is a tricky one. Definitely reach out to us. My number should be on the screen if you're on YouTube, or you can just check the descriptions. But it is 919 for those of you currently watching. You can take it down, 919 925 2295. You can call us Monday through Friday, other than Christmas Day, of course, because Monday is Christmas. Such a weird Christmas this year, like, but anyway. But yeah, just call us to ask questions about that, because that's something I just want to look into a little bit more, because I know with VAWA, you can always add your children, but this child just came in on a B1, B2, so I'm not sure. Okay, but thanks for that question. That was a great one. If I'm missing your questions, please make sure you let me know, because it's just scrolling by really fast. All right. Okay. Another question on Facebook. You guys on YouTube, I'm not seeing your questions, but thanks for watching anyway. If you're watching this afterwards, like I said, just reach out to us with the contacts in the description, so we can guide you with your green card process and help you, especially as we're getting into the new year, to make sure you're on the path towards fulfilling some of those dreams and big plans that you had when you first came to the US, okay? If you're not married, if you don't know what you qualify for, still reach out to us, because we have expanded our services, like I said. So there are other ways that you can potentially still get a green card. All right, so reach out to us. Let's talk about that. Okay. But for someone like CD, I'm not sure how to say your name, who's saying I'm husband material, definitely don't call us, because we don't provide wives. It says 500 yards. That's why I'm laughing. So 500 yards, husband material. That's great. You can put that stuff on your Tinder profile. I'm sure to get a lot of likes or swipes. Yeah. But yeah, we don't matchmake over here, right? But we can tell you the best options for you to get your legal status, okay? Make sure that you can work, make sure you're not deportable, or even if you're already in proceedings, to see if there's any waiver options for you to potentially, still get your green card, okay? All right, let's see who else says. To go and fight terrorists, to join military is worth it, yeah? If you to stay in America. Or you rather stay in Africa. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not worth it. Yeah. Well, I guess if someone said it's worth it to them, just depends. All right. Uh Another question about filing for a child 21 and 23 years old, unmarried, for a permanent resident. Do they qualify? For now, I'm going to say no, but I somehow think that they do, as long as they are married. But I want to verify that, because there's always the age limit, 21 age limit. But I think it just changes the category too, because it's like if it's an adult child versus, I think it's called son or daughter, but that might be son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. So as a permanent resident, it's just rules are a little bit different, especially now with the backlogs. So let's definitely touch base on that for the older kids over 21. Okay. But the 14-year-olds, definitely a yes. You can file for your 14-year-old as a permanent resident. Okay. All right. I have a question, honestly. Is it worth the effort and all the expenses in the American dream? Um, I'm still alive, or am I going from one jungle to another? Do you want me to answer honestly? Because I've thoughts about these types of questions. Let's see, maybe I'll save that for the end. Just want to make sure I answer some questions about filing and those who are already in the U.S. Some people didn't really get a choice, right? I'm working with a client right now who came into the U.S. when she was 3 years old. Her parents just wanted to relocate, and then she found herself here. And then fast forward to later, you find out that you're not even a U.S. citizen because you've lived there your whole life. So Some people don't really get a choice in the matter, but if you're in Africa, you're asking me this, it's a whole different thing. We could talk about that in a little bit. Someone says it's been 9 months. I submitted my green card, marriage based, but still no EAD. Is that normal? Yes. Layla, yes. Layla, yes, it is normal to wait up to 9 months before you get your work authorization. There's really no guarantees on that. It is really, they give you 6 to 12 months. They may or may not give you the work authorization. I've seen cases where they give the work authorization and then shortly after you get your green card. So it's like, up in the air with that one. So 9 months is not really out of the ordinary. Just try to check in, check your case online, make sure everything's good. Okay. Layla, I think I just answered you. So are you satisfied with that answer? Because I think 9 months is still within, but like I said, this December, though, we've gotten several work permits in the mail, just like that. Cases that have been pending for quite some time. So I think something about December, a lot of people get some approval. So just check the mail and see. Maybe you get something. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Layla. Can I get a waiver? This is from Danny. Can I get a waiver for overstay if I want to go back to my country to live? What do you mean? Okay, if you want to go back to your country to live, what do you need a waiver for? You want to go back and then come back again? It just depends. Do you have a U.S. citizen relative? Because waivers are based on U.S. citizen relatives. It's hardship waivers. It's the whole point of the waiver is, can you prove that if you were deported, it's going to cause hardship to your U.S. citizen relative, right? So if you're going to be going back to your country to live there, and you're planning to come back to the U.S. again, and you don't have any U.S. citizen relative, I mean, maybe after 10 years, depending on how long you overstayed, right? You may have a 3 or 10 year ban. So maybe after that, but that's it. Yeah, Leila, I understand it is stressful waiting. It like waiting with the USCIS. I think that's why I always talk about the support that we offer as a firm, because I think the hardest part about immigration is the waiting. Is putting together the paperwork is tough, yes, but with our experience, we can just do it, boom, boom. But that waiting, when you start waiting for 2 years, like start losing your shit, okay? And I teach my clients different ways to help them not lose their shit so much, not to focus so much on that timeline stuff and just find other ways to live. Otherwise, it's like it's so, your hands are tied because there's not much you can really do. Even when we do expedites, like I've had people who were pregnant and ended up just having their babies without the husband being there, and there's only so much we could do. It's annoying, but we keep it pushing because we do get positive results, and we just focus on those, and we keep on generating more positive results. Okay. um Danny is still on the overstay situation. Danny, you need to shed more light on that, because you're saying is there a way to avoid a ban? I still don't know if you have a U.S. citizen relative or not. That's really the only way I can tell you right now. But if you tell me how long you've overstayed, has it been over 6 months? Because not every overstay triggers a ban, you guys. Okay, a lot of people don't even realize that, and they just freak out, and they want us to file their green card on the day that their visa is expiring. It doesn't even work like that, okay? Not every day of an overstay triggers a ban. There's a amount of time that you have. So, we need to know more. If you want to come back to the U.S., you definitely don't want to overstay or violate your immigration anyway, so you can get your green card, or just come back as a tourist if that's what you want to do. Okay. All right. Um. Okay. Let's see. Not any answer to this question. What's your question? Purpose, not perfection. I like that name. Merry Christmas, Garmia. Thanks for joining on Facebook, and you all on YouTube. It's been a while. I've been live on YouTube, but I'm definitely gonna be more active on my YouTube channel. So if you're on my TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, or wherever you're watching this from, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because that's what we'll have more in-depth videos these days with the shorts and the reels and TikToks and just short videos. We don't really go in depth into some things, right? So it's tough. That's why these lives are also great to try to answer some questions in depth. But if you want to watch them over, replays and things like that, YouTube will be your place. All right. Okay. I'm going to answer a few more questions and then we're going to call it a day for today. And then you can join me on Friday in the group. You can check out the links in my bio on TikTok. On Facebook is going to be in the description. You can just join our Facebook group. A lot of you watching right now are already in the group, so that's cool. But if you're not in the group, join the group. So on Friday, we can do our one-on-one sessions. And then I can answer your questions personally. If there's something you wanted to come on video to talk about and it's not, to the world, it's just exclusive, okay, we can do that. All right. Questions here from the real Megan. Okay. The real Megan, which of the Megans? Megan the Stallion or which one? Megan from England. Okay. USCIS give you and your partner 2 different interview dates. No. I've never heard that one before. Did that happen to you? Friday, what time? At 1 p.m. Eastern time right now. That's the time that we've advertised. So just check it out. Just join the group and you'll see us live. Yeah, so what happened, Caribbean girl? Oh no, so okay, the real Megan is about the interview dates. Tell me more about that. Caribbean girl says you just got married to a new green card holder. Okay. How soon can he file for me? You have 2 children. Okay. Caribbean girl, I think it's just a question of if your marriage is bona fide. The length of time of having the green card, I don't think really matters, except he got it through marriage. I think there's some things in there. Did he get the green card through marriage? Because then is he fully divorced from the other spouse? I got it from a parent. Okay. So probably, potentially no wait time really, because he's already a permanent resident. I mean, once you're a permanent resident, you're a permanent resident. Reach out to me though. Let's make sure that that's still the case, because I think there used to be a wait time for permanent residents to be able to do that, but I'm not 100% sure now. The only thing I can remember is if it was through marriage, but just reach out to me. I'll talk about it more. Since you're already married, that means you should start the process soon if there's no issues. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for asking your questions and for being here. I think I've answered all of them. I've scrolled up and I see, yeah, I see the same questions. So let's see. Oh well, I think I missed one. And after this one, I think we should be done for this live session until Friday. Okay. This is from SVG something princess. How would you advise someone who was married prior and divorced and now attempting to obtain a green card? Advise on what exactly? I'm not sure. Because, I mean, are you fully divorced and are you married to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident? Like, what are you doing at this point? Um, I mean, the main advice is to make sure you're fully divorced and make sure you're not marrying people for convenience just to get a green card. Okay. Okay. Caribbean girl. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that. My number is 919-925-2295. It's also on the link in my bio, in case you missed it. But um, the real Megan, that sounds like either there's some red flags on your applications or there's an error with that. That's not normal to get 2 different days. Because have you had an interview before? Is this your first interview? Because you're supposed to be there together. Okay. SVG Princess. So you're married to a U.S. citizen for a year, but you've been together for a long time. I believe you have a bona fide relationship. Marriage and divorce really doesn't matter as long as there was no fraud happening, right? That's the whole thing. And that the marriage you have now is bona fide. So it sounds like it is 7 years together. Sounds like you'd have evidence together. So yeah. The real Megan, I want to see those interview notices. If you don't mind sharing that with us, you can text that number that I have on the screen, or if you're on WhatsApp, you can WhatsApp a picture of that because I want to see if it says two different things. They're supposed to have the same interview date because the whole point of the interview is for them to see that your marriage is legit. So why would you have two different ones? Doesn't really make sense. Okay. But thank you for asking, and I want to know how that what happens afterwards if you end up going. When is the interview? Make sure y'all are following me for those of you watching right now, so you can see when I go live, and I'll see all our tips that we're sharing to help you. I'm an immigrant just like you all, so I'm always willing to share tips that would help you feel comfortable in the U.S. for the time being while you're waiting to get your green card, and then also how to get your green card because I'm an immigration attorney. Okay. All right. So, last question. I've said last question like two or three times. So, this is the final question. Okay, guys? Because I got to go do more Christmas shopping because last minute things. I don't even know. Yeah, but let's just see what Leo is saying. Leo says, you're pregnant for a U.S. citizen. You're still in London now. Due to travel to the U.S. at 7 months, what should we do? Leo, are you married to the U.S. citizen or just pregnant for the U.S. citizen? Those are two different things. If you want to do something, such as staying in the U.S. permanently, you need to be married to the U.S. citizen, not just pregnant. Okay? Kamal, why are you laughing? The questions just keep coming when I'm like, okay, this is my last one. Purpose, not perfection. Your question wasn't clear. I wasn't really sure what your question was. So can you ask it again? I submitted an I-130 without an I-130A, and my case is being actively reviewed. Is that okay? If it's a marriage base, you definitely needed an I-130A. So if it's being reviewed, they'll definitely send you an RFE for that. Okay. Um, that's definitely gonna come if it's a marriage-based I-130. Okay. Yak says, if I file for my child abroad as a new U.S. citizen, will my child be given a U.S. passport or a green card? Potentially a U.S. citizenship. Um, so yeah, because the rule is if your child's a minor of a certain age and they become a permanent resident, within as soon as they become a permanent resident, they are eligible to become U.S. citizens. That makes sense. Um, so, because I need to know a little bit more. The child's abroad. How's the child? But yeah, even if they get the green card first, if they have to go through that process since you naturalized, they'll immediately become U.S. citizens because of their age. That's usually how it goes. Okay, so um, yeah. Purpose, not perfection. What's your question again? You're welcome, Casey. I haven't seen your question. How long is the person time for T visa? Definitely a while, just like U visas. I think those take a couple of years because they go through different approval processes, okay, because of the nature of what it is. Okay. So I see a lot of you on TikTok have questions. So we'll definitely be coming back on live. So you can follow us, ask your questions in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. But for right now, for the live, we will end here. I want to see you tomorrow for the one-on-ones. Save your questions. There's a whole lot of them that keep on coming in, and that's pretty great. I love answering these questions. But for right now, we're just done with our live timeline. Okay, so let's save it for the next one. Thanks for the follows and the likes. I see new followers joining. Subscribers on YouTube, I'm looking at you. Make sure you're subscribing. All right. All right. You're very welcome. You all that are here right now. And if I missed your question, please just send me a message or reach out by text to the team so that we can get those answers. Okay. Especially you, purpose, not perfection. Okay. So, all right. Take care, guys. Thanks again for joining. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll definitely talk before Christmas, Sha, but I want to know, maybe I'll have some trivia questions for Christmas, or maybe we'll do some Christmas carols, because you all know I already like to sing. So we'll try to, maybe we'll sing during that time. We'll see. All right. See ya. Bye. Okay, that was Facebook and YouTube.